saying ewo UTV so na wo hwe ene te se ne ade bia ye no ye de adesuade e de bremo ye ba e be kyerkyere mo emra na ye wo ewo ye man mu ha na ye de nema etoto bebia ewo se ye de to ye ba besuade afa bail application eho na ansana ye be ko ye nkomo no so no papa jenkato ye ba na ye de ye nkomo no ato aso emra no se say ewo UTV so me da se we fidie no eda so eda ha ye nkomo ene anase ya disua ene no efa bail application ho eme say Ghana ha no ewo bone bia anase obi be kan say bone anase whatever it is why ye no na eme say be hwe ho ne ama bail some of the crimes ni be how committee a eme say ye ntumi ma bail na eno na ne ye ba be sua ne ya hwe den na eme say qualify to get the bill and I say den na bia bill no so kra no person wunya processes ben and I say kwan ben na be first wa wo be ja na say bill no so kra mpo wo be e wo say wutua ansana wetumi access bill no ti and then so mene lawyer Michael Kwabla or a private legal practitioner mene na wo mi studio ha ye ba pension komo lawyer Akwaba.
That's it. Thank you so much.
You can't say bibi the bail I say.
All right. So bail I say maybe mechanical for then how it's okay. Bail is an undertaking of a bond with or without sureties by the accused person or principal party to the effect that if released from police or prison custody, the accused will appear during investigation or to stand trial or to appear at a specified time or place in bond. The HN say you have why you be MMRA? You do work of police station, you do work of court. Bail niche say ye obe sign bond and I say odinko for be di ejinemu. Ama that before I assembly baby no ye be ma wa kofie but before ye be ma wa kofie no e say nkofo na no be di ejinemu no they are credible people. Sometimes the sureties can be properties depending on the severity of the offense no you bet amount a certain amount you say asase a so the papers no e ba na che say at least no ye surety ni dia to na yeja what it means that within the period na ye di asem no until say ye be di asem we no you have a liberty and you be coffee no but anytime be a court ni be here no you have to be present. Because the court ni here now one bad there then it will turn to the sureties and then you may be forced or you may be rearrested and put in police custody. So that's normally bail.
And to me, very interested maybe I can see nipa na or insure when I say nipa na your friend is insurity.
Or
jinemu na ma no. Wo say a friend or court say be a what bail we na say be ordering na sa senkrata be aba beto no. At what point no be na nkrata ne back? Is it at when ye di asem ni nyina wie no asa na be asem ne japade bi no rekoto ho e di insure ma wonya amfa ho de na nsaka e na afen so say ebia ye fro na wankọ a wo mutumi che sa nipa kro na na say what happens?
There's no vicarious liability in crime. And say chinipa kro de no but ye be bisa nipa na se wo ho. And say sureties now the buyer no ye hu nipa na we were street the bond. What we call is that bond is treatment. And they are buying beton na or they are technical. That's what the but say about back to tell undi money. We don't put the edge in the maybe.
Let us see.
And so you making sure say o property now the man buying got turn into nipa na wo dinage the man na e obi a unim no. Obi a say ye abani say ko che na kira kwan a obetumi enkokotifa didn't aba. That is what it means.
And other part of the question is say at what point do you get your documents back? Ebia na ye japade bi na te se ne awoka no wo magia will the case will you have to travel the full length of the case mo mo di assembly wi ansa na won sa ka onema baka na say ebia wo di kotum na afi be 6 months bi na ye de wade ama how does it work?
Once it is your property once your property now you are not selling it or it's not an incumbent property there until the
if you na utim bibisa
now then during the pendency of the case that one there, Odia majority.
Along the line, if I want to sell the property, am I ending?
That one you have to go to the court. No, I think you have to go to the court for the court to decide on that aspect for you.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. At what point NOB BBI you bet to me a granting a bill, and why so crying a bit to me a granting a bill?
Correct. So there were okay in section 96(1). Bail may be granted in 3 occasions. There were bail before trial. With the bonino ne yacho ne do wako police agency bit police inquiry bail where the accused is released by the police for me to make so okay e be offense na why no and should anye any serious offense into maybe you're also a known person in the society. So we bet me actually so the amount self-recognized bail. Any court bail, any the courts in the Bema. By a bail pending trial during investigation. Abia during the investigations, no abiding agencies, no, they cannot keep you in the police custody for 2-3 months while they are investigating the bail. Any bail during the course of the trial. Then we also have bail pending appeal. Abia Ebu Assembly. Yebuabo, Uko prison, but the court can give you bail. That particular bail, no, the bar is very, very high. Bail pending appeal, what it means is that you must demonstrate that there is an error of law patent on the face of the record. Ebia Emrana judge in the ball, no, that's not the MMRA so the ball because it is not good policy say you do go to prison. Na amount bail no abetena fie na ye appeal ni we ya yes ye boabo na say they come back. It is not a good policy. So the threshold is in fact if the Republic versus Fina the court gave the conditions before a bail pending appeal could be granted. One, I say where the conviction is prima facie wrong, Ushe record ni mo say I boni we die imrani e di nipa no. That is not it. Judges are humans. They also make mistakes. That's why even at the court of first instance, we also give you the opportunity to appeal further. Where it will be of real assistance for the preparation of the appeal. Ebi appeal no. Ebe hiya umu bi ne dia o lawyer ni dia appeal amount. Enti ye do ko to efiase a it will inconvenience the lawyer. Another one is maybe there's an undue delay before obey appeal, no pending bail, no, you have to get the records of the court together with the judgment. And when it is not in your care, ebia yebu asemitia na court in so-called legal vacation. Say amount bail na time on my bail no cry now sentence 3 months we. So that's what they say. If there's going to be an undue delay on your part, on the part of the court, that's that due delay no result in you spending substantial parts of the term in prison, the court will go ahead and grant you bail pending appeal. So that's it.
Inti, you share the conditions of bail. Say, ansana yebema obi bail no general bail ne krano. Ebia metewe makwako you obi bone na nipa na call report me ama police and a police for ababe fame. Say me call na me pese police for ma me bail krana. E no na dodo na enim. E kwan ben so niema ben na wo say me satisfy ansana yetumi ama me sa bail.
The main consideration for bail ni say ye hia wa say beboa investigation and ye hia wo say ba court a wo beba. So you be a flight risk, what we call a low flight risk now. Bail may be difficult to be.
How do you determine someone a flight risk?
He doesn't have a specific place of abode.
Somebody able to me UTV.
You don't have a specific place of abode. Maybe yes. You are not able to show exactly where you stay. It will be difficult for them to grant you bail. Also, we share section 96(5) now, and with your permission, I want to read. A court shall refuse to grant bail if it is certified that the defendant, or in this case the accused, may not appear to stand trial. Like I said, no. So now investigation now court. They are now watching say the man obey journey. The police for no meet me. Judge didn't be and the only benefit is like I said, no. You have to get a. Sometimes we don't have any fixed income. Nipa no ni fixed or ni baby potty out. Yes, nipa no jana later no. Say if you also interfere with the witness or the evidence, I am a bill. ABR, and court. It's has to do issue with defilement or be a wafa akwala 12 years. Or near akwala netifi. In this instance, it's possible say a woman in bail. That's what near akwala netifi. They can tamper with the witness. Or the who be shame. And that's what be a complainant backwards going to make kasa. And also sometimes they may deny you bail. And I say anyway I bet hamper police investigation and so and also you bet deny you bail. Your mouth bill na kwa ye boni foforo. Ebia okuwia car. You've satisfied the conditions of the bill. However, no, ye hwe wa obesan kwa okuwia ade biom. And even though the law say don't prejudice an accused person, no. You will be a past conduct. Once you should be a past conduct, you can probably tell the kind of person the person. Another one is is charged with an offense punishable by imprisonment exceeding 6 months, which is alleged to have been committed while the defendant was on bail. Yama bail no, and I will call OTF Uber court. No what's up for your bonibia. You do the prison for more than 6 months. The next time about bail need the farm. Even though bail generally is at the discretion of the judge. However, no, Article 296 gives the guideline on how discretion should be used. And the Criminal and Other Offences Act, the procedure and so saying how the judges can use that discretion. So those are the instances I'm sure. Yeah, bail. Yes.
Nti ye share bailable offenses. Bonne ben and I say crimes ben now committee and I say enema ben now committee ni be you call a police for and I say you jina court you bet to me ama bill na ye hen so and na your constitution and I say ye offenses act makwan say ye ma bill.
Okay, before the decision in Martin Kwebu versus Attorney General the two no. Some offensive bohonoma yema bill and it is here at section 96(7). A court shall refuse to grant bail in a case of treason, subversion, so person utu abani gu, treason, o person utu constitution gu, murder, so we could be robbery, hijacking can be both ship or aeroplane, piracy, or more money means so you hear a lot of pirate issues in the rape, defilement, escape from unlawful custody, or where a person is being held for extradition to another country. First, in bail. However, no, your constitution, no, Article 9(2)(c) say a person charged with a criminal offense shall be presumed to be innocent until he is proved or pleaded guilty. Article 19(1) to say a person charged with a criminal offense shall be given fair hearing within a reasonable time. Article 15(2) of the Constitution says that, and with your permission, I want to read.
I'll show you.
The dignity of all persons shall be inviolable. No person shall, whether or not is arrested, restricted, or detained, be subjected to torture or other cruel, inhuman, degrading treatment. In because of police custody in prisons. Then Article 14(3) and 4. Article 14(3) say. A person who is arrested, restricted, or detained for the purpose of bringing him before a court in execution of an order of a court or upon reasonable suspicion of his having committed or being about to commit a criminal offense under the laws of Ghana, and who is not released, shall be brought before the court within 48 hours after the arrest. In fact, so with the combined effects of all these provisions, Martin Kwebu, lawyer Martin Kwebu, the court can say no. What it means is that then section 7 of subsection 7 of section 96, no, it's against the Constitution. So now that part has been repealed. So now in Ghana, the rule is that all offenses are bailable. However, you cannot discount the discretion of the judge. Like I said, all offenses, say the only offense be an bail, but the discretion of the judge, and like I said, bills are discretionary. And the discretion of the judge there, that one they cannot do anything.
And yeah, interesting. Say yeah, okay. Some of those offenses, na nanka first young grant to bill maybe and can no can do be court crimes and a judge no it decide no. Which ones na ye do ko police station na police for no e won ho kwan say we dey o man ka so be ma bill but wo mo fan court.
Police can grant, like I said, the police inquiry bill need there. The thing is that police for nature within 48 hours, they are mandated to send you to court. It is at the court, end of it to match say a bail and I am bail. Okay. Within that 48 hours, the police will wait on based on the severity of the offense. On to mean kunipa Emma police for say Emma bail, and only sometimes we have to the court must do that. But petty crimes, maybe
what about monato defilements? No? These are heavy.
Yes, and the police most of the time they may not even listen to you. But what it means is that your right is that within 48 hours you have found court. And there's a court in so many then the police hands are tied. But like petty crimes that the misdemeanor and based on nipa ba or society the police can give you bail.
Yen share processes are so wo pe bail e wo say wo femu ansana with me bail.
Process are pe bail.
Say bia ya chew na ye de wakwa bia police for ho no na police for do wakwa gina court and ansana police for kwa do be court no whether the police inquiry bail and I say the court bail no process ben and as a person will apply for bail ni bia e will say wo faso.
Okay, so you have to get a lawyer. Most instances, our advice for everyone say once you are at fault with the law, get a lawyer. Lawyers know exactly what to say to a judge. Lawyers know exactly what to say to a police officer, a crime officer.
Must be once you are at fault or whether you've been accused and I say.
So okay, when you are accused by a court, because once and for all, of course, you are easily accepting your guilt. Once you are accused by a court, speak with a lawyer. You do court, so the court will apply for the bail for you. So there's a motion for bail and there's a supporting affidavit. The supporting affidavit in a bit detailing your place of abuebi otiha or ye juma say or this or family say, Nima will say, Niri will say, and no court in Israel will say, oh, ni pay or no bia. Ojana omba embe Sunday trial enti ye betumi amani bail.
Okay.
So that's the process.
Enti bail no mami bisa ye tuaka.
Bail is free.
Mpacho bohobiem.
Bail is free. But
eya me de metati o mete ebia na meken say mete won from him. So sometimes to make us so omu hwehwe sika e de akọ post station ho ade akwaje bill na so mo hwe sky wo say ebusua no ye ntoboa bi ne ye de ma nipa kro no na wo mutumi e de koye bill application tina maybe say bill no ana yetuaka na yetuaka nso so a say
that is why it is advisable say once you are accused by a police officer or you the law find a lawyer.
And I obi de kwedu bia ball pay.
Find a lawyer. Bail is free. However, no one's a Ghana no. Yeah, police for no, they are partners in helping to maintain peace and order. It means we are trying to investigate police for. But bail is free. See a lawyer, and the lawyer will just that the service of the lawyer may not be free. But see a lawyer and the lawyer can help you out.
The lawyer na o beji na ma no onu na ebi obeji sika.
Correct, because
answer akwa apply bill
yes,
na
because the GBA
but bill na nkasa wo post station ho no ma na say court ho no de e free.
Exactly.
Okay. Nti yate ase. Nti sese no se wo apply bill na ebi a wenya lawyer wakogine mu akokeka nsem bia ye de bill di ba be ma na afi yesi o nipa no say e wo so de say ya mo obrofo bia mo ka nipa no say a man sure of say 10,000 ni abubo skebi saa sika na amobo no na say chese e wo sika e wo so okofa e de beto ho no ma na say den.
Oh no, say amount surety of 10,000, what it means that you have to bring a property worth that particular amount. If you also have that particular money, you can then deposit it with the court. But in most instances, no, it must be so. You can say amount surety of 5 million. You can say cost 5 million Ghana cedis in court. But maybe there's a property Okaboma or sureties Nikaboma, it is worth that 5 million. Those properties must be vetted by the state agencies who say ampa eyawodia and your sureties need there, then you deposit it with the court. Yes.
Into why a bit to me I surety.
Oh, everybody can be a surety for you, but like I said, no nipa who wenti say koye surety amobia, ye surety abemobia unimno. Because say nipa no am be standing trial, say nipa na am back court na nipa ni dwania. A typical case in point has to do with Madam Sedina at Maslock case. No one say omo mo di ejina mo man ne ye means we mo di wa, but there was a bonus treatment because Kana to choice and I think no, they are also going through the process to see say if the decision of the higher court can be reversed. And they say nipa no now could di na chidi our answer be ma with unsensitive. And sometimes so before obe jina obi echa obe di jina mu no oni nipa no ending komo. Sometimes people who actually can tell you the main fact of the case. At that point now, ni watching in the that's where we try and try so that you can make an independent mind decision. Say, okay, then I want to stand surety for the person.
Me kana be say me who say, and I mete hey, do I qualify? And I say, obia keke owo man mu betimi qualify so kwa kujina emu amobi. Who say emra no time be no mu the age ne clauses be atototo nema bi o ho a obi ya ye say wundi 18 na untumi nye wonye say a untumi nye say enti na pese me hu say ansa na nipa nankasa na oba be cast check out ne say me pese me gine mu e ma asimesi ana wo kwabla me akua me pese me ba na me be gine mu e ma no e was semetebia and answer me fair by to say.
Clearly, you must be an adult, and also you must not be a man of straw. It can't say man of straw. She mumeka say, omu baby omu buze or jida sira kuwu sede. Unipa ya ubabe uni baby uni sebe. You don't even know where your next meal is coming from. You cannot go and stand a surety because surety means to know. Yes, so you have to know the properties you own. In fact, if it has to do with properties and surety, and the most important thing is so, in order to facilitate the bill process, so to pay ubia yeah, because once I am paying for sometimes we are some crown now call him oko ubia ebi ohene ferry no wakodi ejina mama nte ye ubia nenimu nyam like ubia it's not just an make it an ordinary person only baby that only down or team
so kwasoro be mount mo abisa say
exactly
ntoma ewo hinti ye engina honom ne yenkoje nkato ne mbra eye emra no sesen ewo UTV so na wo hwe em say ye discuss bill applications or rights ne Perils no ena yesu ya nti yenko break ye ba na ye de enkomo no atoaso say ewo UTV so na ogusu a wo hwe em say yenkomo a enne anase ya disu enne ye de to dwa no eye bail application ho na lawyer ye ba be ko break no em say na bibisa say hwan ena ewo say otumi ejina ema obi ena na wo chechum to betumi atoaso amaya.
Okay, another point am person me my Ghana for and IT for and I 40 as you say Oko section 96(6) of the Criminal and Other Offences Procedure Act now. At least the court in share. Like I said, because bail is mostly at the discretion of the judge, you know. The law also tried not to make it arbitrary. So the discretion must be used properly. What certain instances go on so they are now bail. So, Mrani say, in considering whether it is likely that the defendant may not appear to stand trial, once I say, the fair amount of bail, you must show that you hear what court are obeba. Today, any day, I court measure so
the nature
of the accusations. Ebia, na say kotoko support be a boy yes tabe no almost say the suspects in a be call. If lately they arrested the girlfriend of one of the suspects say wabua and woman call Senegal. It is because of the nature of the offense he has committed. Because I'm sure say if he's probably a petty, the person
so
he will avail himself. The nature of the evidence in support of the accusations. Offense now we are committing evidence now abani krano. It is very huge evidence. Omanu onwen him say I say ade we dey boni we dey medi woman kwan dey answer the no be kan ra. The severity of the punishment. If it is misdemeanor, say okay, with less than 3 years you spend in jail. But if it is murder, then we are looking at life imprisonment. And also no will determine say if the court will also grant to be. Whether the accused or the defendant, having been released on bail on a previous occasion, has willfully failed to comply with the conditions of the recognizance and then entered into by the defendant, and only sureties me and they may be a man bail in a previous case, but Nyama saw when to me and whether or not the defendant has a fixed place of abode in the republic and is gainfully employed, it's also a factor. In fact, say you have to show economic ties to the country because say because say you are going to be a burden. That is how the same thing applies here. You must show that you are gainfully employed. Whether the sureties are independent, of good character, and of sufficient means. One time we can say, your sureties must not be a man of straw. And you'll be a oji damako, I don't know. That's our chief for the can. And you'll be a quatrequa.
Yeah.
So those are the conditions of courts in the best no or the amount of bail.
And court no ebe refuse obi bail. Make to me if I answer court no cry ebia wahwehwe sa na ma no o refuse o bail no so e ho bibi to say appeal ho so if you see bail na make me asan ba biem say oh ebia jaja dey we dey wan hwe ni yi anase we dey we hu ni yi nti still am feel say e wo say o ma me bail no
correct say oh ye refuse bail was circuit court. You can file a motion at the high court, not an appeal. You are only filing a motion at the high court, invoking once the high court say human rights, they have original jurisdiction to enforce the fundamental human rights of Ghanaians. So into you are invoking the original inherent jurisdiction of the high court under Article 141, then Section 96(2) of Act 30. So high court no, not say court into refuse to then you have the right of appeal to the court of appeal. You also go there. So na but when bail is granted and conditions or no, say bo on so amount bail no, but nyama na dey ato ho no, it is say nka yamfa ma ogrange nka because e dey akọ bi abanche
say he ebo nyama na ye bisa no so we meet e no so kra no what happens to you
so you just for the meantime media will be them, but you like I said you just see a lawyer. The lawyer will apply to the high court for a review of those things. And if a refusal bail was circuit court, you can file at the high court. At the high court, you can go to the court of appeal. If the sureties or the conditions are also onerous now, over to me I call the step high, which is the high court, for them to have a review of those conditions.
Obo beka se mi ni obia ene yesime nkofo obimbra na ebia na mi ame wo sika na ebia anase japade na se ebia na court no ehwehwe no. Is there a way a court no betumi akase okay so nipa no onyo obi anfa ne ma na so no awo se japade no mbehwe age se japade no can they waiver sureties no
cases are determined issues at the courts are determined on case by case basis. Not all things are the same and the courts no that's why the court has a discretion to do and of course the court can do that based on that but you also have to show say Nyamana okofa abano eyawodia in law we call something nimo that can no habit. You cannot give what you don't have. Say so we media mean to go so we come court say media. So what it means is that Nyamana o ka say uni obia na o diban so it must be verifiable because if you have a land the land must be registered. Land commission or if you have a car DVLA document will show that the car is for you. So that's how the thing is you must be able to show say at least
Ghana land we bring na yet tete so no register you unto be there. Ya onko for we be o tete fie mu a efie ne ye nyina ye nim say o mo de o but e bia no mo ko register here because of the your friend say problems and say the processes are all ko register obri nti ube den edan ye media me so e bia na nkrata e minya nye.
Then we also encourage the people to register it. Say na that you know that you can easily fall on that.
Lawyer, nti me say my final question I maybe say ye ma wo bail no ewia na se bio nipa no ma me bisa we first and say apa no. Say ya ma bail no, are you allowed to do whatever you want? Also including traveling, going on vacation and I say so what's now na we try and say bia you do asem ne wi.
Okay, so your amount bill no na say you be a businessman na hotel to kwa. Most of the time the court no be your passport at home. So if you want to travel like you go to the court, explain the circumstances to the court and the court can grant you that liberty to travel. Travel na Ghana, to guys say o person here dia person, to guys say ukokunipa no. But then you can live your normal life. Yes, that at any point the cases at the court you must show yourself. So to me in court maybe you have to show medical excuse duty. Reason why you cannot come to the court, and that's why it is very important to have a lawyer to guide you in all those.
What can same way na atwe my dream question be so say e bia na me edwuma me ye no eye dwedie eye kwan so na e bia makoko me say kwan bia na o hye kakra e bia rape na say bia say defilement bi na no ya ma me bail, but I'm supposed to travel, but at that point no mo be ma me kwan say even though mama me bail still my normal course of business. And so I say, how would you treat a case like that? Until
the court dispenses with the case, you are still innocent. Even if you are caught in the act, the state must prove their case. So you are still innocent. That is why person to kwaya want to mean so because like I said, no, once the court know the juma away there, they will the court will keep your passport. But person to find there, your lawyer can apply to the court or to the judge say and once you are a businessman, definitely no, you are not running away. But you have to make cogent and you have to provide cogent reasons to the court for them to grant you your passport back for you to travel. So until court somebody assembly there, you are still innocent. In fact, that's what the law says. And so yes, the court will allow you to travel.
Me that's what papa and say obi hweyen na se be ne ho akira na se obi de kwedu e de abona assembly na be ka kire nipa kro no.
Okay, me too for say first of all see a lawyer. Obi o be ka say oh lawyer for metueska. It is good because they will tell you your court school you are sharing the rights of everybody, the rights of the accused. At that point you don't know. Also no your police station, you'll be asked to write your caution statement. You need to see a lawyer before you write anything to incriminate yourself. And he say assembly to they are make catch on and say just see a lawyer. So who lawyer and I say Ghana the lawyers, lawyers we are almost everywhere. There is legal aid, there is lawyers advocacy group all over. One lawyer now bet me akohu obi a ebi onim lawyer bi. In fact, say Ghana no obi ni mobi. You can call on the person or to help. Most importantly, always see a lawyer. That's the most important. Once there is a pending case before you, I will just advise you to see a lawyer, and the lawyer will help you to navigate the issues.
Me de bibi e me de pa ne say say bail no free na emom ne wo say de to ye tim ne say lawyer na wo kofa no ono de ne services no free nti ebia na ebisa muska ne ya ebia na montia sense lawyer ne na ebisa ne sika ebia enye sika ye gya koma police for nti anase gya koma court for bail no free ba wo lawyer na wo free ne de hu say wo so ye de utua ne ka mmra no sesen wo UTV so ene ya hwe yesua ade memesua ade bebre minim say won so a wo hwe yen so wesua bibi bebre nti next time obi echewa na se wo ho chirewa momodia na ma lawyer bi number emben unti meka ne sa na lawyer Michael Kwablo private legal practitioner number ene wo screen so uhia no na se wo ho chirewa na wo pese wo ne lawyer kasa obetumi afre no na wa chirewo ekwan a ewo se wo fa so editwitwa ho eyemra no sen ewo UTV so medin de ekua asanteba mensa na mne lawyer Michael Kwabla ena meneno etwetwe enkomo ene na se na yebesi ehye biem. Bye bye.